Hello. So we have some pretty exciting new information that's been given to us a couple of hours ago at the time of recording. The Worldmakers team have released a new teaser trailer for Deceit 2, as well as a blog post that talks about the new design choices they're making in Deceit 2, and a new roadmap for what we can expect in the future. I do want to jump right in and show the teaser that we've all been very excited to see the past few months. So I'll go ahead and do that, and after it I'll talk about it for a bit, give some of my thoughts. Alright, well that was the new Deceit 2 teaser trailer. I have to say, it looks amazing. Gives a little look at the asylum map, shows how huge and menacing that terror is, and it seems to show what the ritual might look like when someone dies in Deceit 2. The visuals look stunning, and I know this is just a teaser trailer, not a gameplay trailer, but if the gameplay looks anything like this, I'm going to be very happy. I do absolutely love the way the blood looks forming that pentagram. We do also have another look at the Game Master here, and it does make me wonder if he'll be in any part of the actual gameplay or if he'll just be background, kind of the part of the lore of each game we play. And also, I forgot to mention at the beginning that we see this terror break through that wall behind him, and it makes me wonder if that's actually going to be a gameplay element or if it was just something for the trailer. So I wonder if that'll actually make it into the game. I'm hopeful that it will. It does look very cool. Now I'm going to be moving on to the blog that they released alongside the trailer, the universe behind the ritual. First going to here saying the original Deceit was a very design-focused game, and they made decisions based on what would be the most fun, and did not give as much thought to the world and the visuals of the game and what their changes would actually do in the grand scope of things. But now in Deceit 2, they're going to add some major focus on the story of the game where Deceit 1 was lacking. They brought along things like the characters, the blood, and location that gave the original Deceit its feel, and are expanding upon those in the new game. Next up, they start talking about the reality versus the in-between, which is, kind of the day and the night time of the new game. The reality phase seems to be like the daytime in Deceit 1, where you try to figure out who's infected. And now you're also trying to stop the ritual from happening, apparently. During the day, infected players are trying to gather blood to empower the ritual, of course, while keeping their identities hidden. Seems really interesting, and I'm excited to see how that translates into actual gameplay. It does make me wonder if escaping the map is really an objective anymore, or if your objective is now just to stop the ritual as an innocent, and of course stay alive. We will have to see. Once the infected have sacrificed enough blood, the ritual will commence, and everyone will be transported to the in-between. This is where the infected become terrors and hunt the humans. This seems more or less like the night in the original game, but now it does not seem like you are executing the innocents, but instead sacrificing them to a ritual. I do really want to see how this plays out in actual gameplay. Of course, we will see at the end of the month in the playtest, but I'll get into that later. Moving on to this behind the master section, we see that the game master was first to successfully unlock the true secrets of the old ones, whoever they are. This little section talks a little bit about the backstory of the game master in this new game, This was shown a bit in the forum lore that is on their website. I recommend taking a look at that if you're interested in lore type things like this. It basically says that the Game Master was a child of an aristocratic family, and he was the only survivor in a ritual that the family held to summon eldritch beings into our world. He peeked beneath the veil of our reality, and he saw the in-between, which is going to be this new dimension that we get transported into. How and why the Game Master created the Ritual of Deceit is something that will be shown over time as the game develops. The World Makers team want to have a much more increased immersion and atmosphere than there was in Deceit 1, though they do not want it to be the main thing that the game focuses on. So if you enjoy world building and storytelling, that there will be a ton of things that you can find across the game and story, but otherwise you can just focus on deceiving your friends and having fun. Honestly, when I first heard about Deceit 2's development, I never would have thought that it would have taken this amount of care and quality when it comes to world building and lore. I'm super excited to see what they have in store to show us in the future. Now moving on, before I show you the new roadmap that they just released on their website, I did want to go over the blog post that was not released yet in my last video, the one concerning the new 3 characters. First up, we have Priya, who's nice and kind and just wants to help people. She has always wanted to be a pharmacist, but found out how horrible it was that so many people could not get the medication that they desperately needed. She doesn't like to break the law, but will often allow someone help when they don't have the right documents or cannot pay the full price. Her medical knowledge helps the Truth Seekers Anonymous group to decipher things like drugs found on coroner's reports. Next up is Jack, who seems to be a very charismatic guy. He works at a luxury perfume counter and found that his charm works well in selling them to people. One time, a rich older patron wanted to pay him for a date, and he accepted. After this would happen multiple times with different individuals, he knew he had to take advantage. He now juggles as many acquaintances to make sure that they do not find out about each other. Finally, we have Beck, who is a talented artist. They were hired by a well-known art gallery once for a restoration contract, though it was later found out they were hired to create forgeries for rich buyers. They were not sure at first, but now are complicit with it. This skill has helped them create things like fake IDs that has helped the Truth Seekers group on differing occasions. These new characters are really interesting, and I hope to see more information about the Truth Seekers Anonymous group and how they managed to find themselves ending up in the Millhaven Asylum. I'd love to see some new interactions between these new characters. As a final thing I wanted to cover in this video, the World Makers devs have now included a roadmap on their website that shows what will be going on in the coming months related to Deceit 2. First, they show when they announced Deceit 2 back in July, built from the ground up on a next-gen engine for both PC and consoles. Then, in the last 2 weeks of September, they revealed the new versions of the original Deceit characters and showed off the 3 new characters that will be joining the cast. Here we are today, or today as of recording, where they showed off the in-between teaser. Having there be a Deceit 2 booth at both TwitchCon Amsterdam a few months ago and San Diego this year have been a great choice for getting the word out that this game is coming. Then they have a bit here about the dev blogs. So apparently we're going to be getting weekly blogs, which is great to hear after not having much information between July, which is when they announced, and September when we started getting blogs. Next, showing what's upcoming, they will be holding a technical alpha test for people to play an early version of Deceit 2, help them test it out. It will take place on the 29th and 30th of October, and it's aimed at early game testers and existing Deceit 1 players. I cannot wait to test it out and see how the game feels and plays out. After that, they will have a main alpha test during the week of the 5th of December 2022, which is to be confirmed. It may not exactly be then. They want to see how players engage with the new mechanics, the new map, and all the core new features. And they also have their launch time frame set at early 2023 now. I believe that before the time frame was late 2022, but I genuinely do not fault them at all, considering in another blog post they said that they just started development earlier this year. That is a huge task to take on, to create an entire game from the ground up in a new engine with the small development team they have. I would much rather a finished game come out later than a buggy, half-baked release just to hit a certain date. I expect them to update this roadmap as time goes on, so if you want to keep a look at it, I'll put a link in the description. Well, that is all of the new information that's been released to us at this moment. If you enjoyed this video, I recommend subscribing. I will continue to make videos on new information about Deceit 2, and if you are an enjoyer of Deceit 1, I'm still going to continue to make those videos as well. Thank you all for watching.